Hey everyone, welcome to Average Joe Preparedness. My name's Rick, and I'm an average Joe. So, got up this morning, I checked out the news, checked out the feeds, got on the internet, and yeah, life isn't getting any better. As a matter of fact, I'm sure if you watched any of my videos, you've heard it before that yeah, it's not getting any better, and it's not going to. It's just going to keep going down. And once again, same challenge, and I don't mean that in a negative way, same challenge goes out. If anybody can tell me what's going to happen to make everything just get better, just go ahead and put it down in the comments section. So, Rick, you missed it. This is it. This is the thing that's just going to make everything all better, and we're all going to join hands and sing Kumbaya. So, I don't know what it is. If you do, let me know. For the, again, average Joe, this is just for the average person. And there's a little bit of an issue with that about making these for the average person, I guess, is because sometimes I'm not sure that the average person knows what's going on. Big picture, scary picture, if that makes sense. So we might touch on that if you're going to stick to the end of this video. We might touch on that a little bit. But as always, this is for the average person, and then we'll touch a little bit on people that are just beginning, and then basically it's mostly for the average person, and then we'll touch on a few things maybe a little bit in the future. Yes? All right, let's get started. So to get it out of the way, I usually try to do things that average persons can do, average people, whatever, to save a little bit of money, because finances. Every video, we're going to touch on finances, people, because being an indentured servant and living paycheck to paycheck is a bad idea. If you haven't figured it out yet, I hope you do. I do. So I got a little clip I made like a couple days ago. I've mentioned it before. My HVAC, my air conditioning heating, that I maintain it on my own. I try to, and it was time to change out the filters. And I've mentioned it before, I think, so I'll mention it again. I buy my filters in bulk because it's less expensive. And I don't get the super, oh my gosh, this is the greatest filter in the world. I usually take it down like one notch, if that makes sense. And then I change them out more often. I usually try to change them out about once a month. And some people might say, well, that's a little too often. Well, once again, they're not the greatest filters. They're like down here. And I do get them in bulk. And so I want my HVAC to be maintained well. You with me? Now, we've got remodeling going on in the house. Long stories, don't even want to get into it. But like the HVAC guys came out because they needed to do some stuff, not with the system so much, but with adding vents. And really nice guy, great guy. And he's like, hey, your HVAC is awesome. It's old, but it's actually a decent HVAC. The guy who built the house before us, single owner before us, he put in a good HVAC for the time. The house is getting older. He's like, but it puts out the air. It puts out the right temperatures. And I'm like, yeah, because he was military, and I'm former military. He was former military too. And there seems to be a habit that some people get into to maintain things. So it's really well maintained. And to me, keeping it maintained and keeping it working well with no issues is worth the effort of changing out my filters once a month and inspecting it, making sure there's no issues with it that can be prevented. And then there's a video that maybe I'll put it, where would this be? Right here. A video about me actually fixing the air conditioning ones on my own. But yeah, so I have a little clip of me, simple, an average person, normal person just like me, changing out the filters. And you'll see I even gave myself a boo-boo when I was doing it, which will tell you why you need to have first aid kits. Yes? Hey everyone. So it's that time again. Time to change the filter out of my HVAC system. Make sure it's maintained. I've told you I'd do it, and I think everyone will agree it's a good idea to maintain your system. It keeps your system working well. It keeps it working efficiently. And I mentioned a bunch of times that I do it, and I get my filters, and I buy them in bulk, and I change them out myself. And I do it probably more often than maybe I should, because I do get the filters at a decent price. But I try to do it about once a month. And then depending on how the weather is, what I mean by that is like pollen, if there's a lot of pollen in the air and it gets into the house, and just if there's some construction in the house, you know, that gets the dust and stuff going on. But anyways, so I'm going to change it out. I've never showed you before, so I'm going to show you how I do it. This is not, remember, this is a jack of all trades channel. This is not an HVAC channel. I'm showing you how to do it. It's just to show you that a normal person can do it. Yes? So I'm going to stop this, and we are going to go through the steps that I go through whenever I change mine out. And the first one is to turn off your air conditioning. So the first thing you need to do is find your thermostat in your house. This is ours. We have one of those smart thermostats that saves us money. And turn it off. Next thing is somewhere on your actual HVAC unit itself, it will have an on-off switch. And I know we turn it off with the thermostat. However, safety first. Off. Now, gaining access to your filter is going to be different for everybody. So you should have the manual, which I've had mine, and I read it, and I know how to do it. But anyways, everybody has their own way. Yes? So, yeah, let me walk you through this real quick. And again, I should work on any of my videos. We'll see what happens. Move the upper portion. That's not where the filter is. This gives us access to down here, which is where the filter actually is. And I'll remind you, I'm not an HVAC guy. Just a normal person. Cut myself too. Be careful of that. Now, I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me see if I can show you, but there we go. This is where my filter is. There's a couple of little metal brackets, little metal braces, flashlight, that hold the filter in place. And basically pull it out. And it's dirty. Throw that over there. Make sure there's nothing, no obvious damage or anything wrong. I'll put one of the little brackets just kind of fell off. Actually, I usually leave them off. It makes it easier. Rick, you should learn how to edit your videos. Maybe. And then take my new filter and make sure you, they usually have a little flow indication on them. Blood. So they usually have a little flow indication, airflow. Make sure you got that right. They don't fit right. I always wish this thing would. Like I could just slide it in. Not the way. It's got a little ridge that it kind of sets in right there. And then to make sure it doesn't go, make sure it doesn't go anywhere. Little brackety things go on. I'm sure there's a technical term for them. I don't know what it is. But they hold it in place so it doesn't move around every time the HVAC turns on and off. Little fan. Now, if you notice this, I didn't show you this before. Right here, can you guys see that? That's a depress switch. And it's safety, so that when you have this off, it's not in place. That actually depresses that. If it's not in place, this supposedly won't turn on. So it's like a third thing. Besides the thermostat, besides the switch right there, you've got that safety switch also. Safety first, guys. So, put this back on. Bottom section. Top section. Make sure everything's good and tight like it's supposed to be. And then I'm going to turn my switch back on, if you guys can see that from here. I don't know if you heard that. Then we're going to go back upstairs and turn on the thermostat. Yes? Okay. All right. Back up here to the thermostat. And put it back on heat. Don't have it so it's going to turn on because of the temperature. I don't know if you guys can see that. I should be putting it more right there. It's my little leaf so that way it shows that I'm saving electricity. Oh! And Band-Aid because I cut my finger. And where did I get my Band-Aid? From one of those numerous first aid kits that I keep in my house. Yes? Yes. Alright, hopefully that video showed you that an average person can do it. It's not that hard. I did get a boo-boo in the thing. But yeah, you can see that it can be done. Again, this is a jack of all trades video or channel because if you want to know how to take care of your HVAC, there are HVAC channels out there that'll show you very detailed how to do it. I'm just showing you so that you know a normal person can do it. We go through this all the time. I don't know if this is getting old for you guys, but that's the point. One of the points of making these videos is that normal people can do these things, and I think should do these things, so that you're saving money, that you're becoming more independent, self-dependent, whatever word. Basically, it's preparedness, and that's what it's about. Yes? And speaking of preparedness, let's bounce into that subject. When I first started doing these videos like a year ago or something like that, preparedness was not a word I had heard very often. I heard preppers and preps and lots of things along those lines, and that's one of the reasons I created the channel, is because I didn't think for normal people being a prepper, or what was called a prepper like a year or two ago, whatever, which has changed, it was, to me, it was about preparedness, you know, in basically everything and working in a direction. And I've noticed, I don't know if you guys go down and check on other content creators, that preparedness is now becoming more mainstream. I'm seeing it more and more in videos, and I think that's an awesome thing because I think that's how we should all be. We should all be at one level or another into preparedness. The more the better, don't get me wrong, but most of us are like right here in the middle. So this is not, if you want to take the wisdom of the crowd, how does that sound? If you go wisdom of the crowd, preparedness is becoming a thing, and I think it's awesome. Yes? All right, big scary stuff. I want to bring it down a little bit. If you're really into seeing what's going on in the world, there's some big scary stuff, but I'm going to bring it back here for more for average people and then a little bit for people that are just beginning. And that is food. The future doesn't look good. So if you want me to touch base on that, that's at the end of the video. We'll get into some, if you want to call it scary stuff. But mostly it's right here, and then but we'll start right here when it comes to food. So, and getting into money and ideas. So if you're just starting, a good idea I would pass on to you is when you're going shopping is to make a list. So before you go, it's really a bad idea to go shopping, go to the grocery store, go wherever you're going to go without a list of things you're going to buy. And for a couple reasons. One is you're not going to get what you need. So before you go, you should inspect. You should inspect your cupboard, your pantry. You should, I hope, and we'll put a little commercial in here, you should be making a menu for what you're going to cook. If you get paid weekly or bi-weekly or once a month or whatever, between point A of payday and next payday, you should come up with a menu so that you know it's not like you wake up, you say, oh, I don't know what I'm making for dinner. Oh my gosh, I got to run to the store and grab this thing. No, bad idea. So let's back it up even more. Menu. Try to make a menu. You can have free days like on Wednesday and Friday. You know, maybe we'll get pizza, or maybe we'll go out, or maybe we'll just improv something. But make a menu. It's a good place to save money, and we're going to walk this into food. Yes? Now, a menu can save you money-wise is because you're not running to the store all the time. Oh my gosh, I need this, because tonight I want to come up with a menu so that you know what you're going to be eating throughout the week or 2 weeks or however you want to schedule your menus. Then make a shopping list. When you go to the store, stay away from impulse buying. Like, hey, I just want this, I want that. Oh, look, that looks great. Oh my gosh. No. You need to control yourself. You need to have a little bit of self-discipline that this is what I need for my pantry. You know, my pantry, my holes, filling up holes or whatever you want to call it. And this is what I need to purchase for eating this next week or 2 weeks, whatever your menu is set up for. So again, to save money, and it's baby steps. If you're just starting off, you need to, I'm suggesting that you get a menu, make a list before you go to the store. Yes? Two more things. When you do go to the store and you purchase things, start looking once again at price. Not the price, talked about it, not the price on the sticker, but the little price off to the side. Because it might say, oh, this is $3, but it might say this is 35 cents per ounce. And this one might be like, oh my gosh, this one's $3, but it might be 22 cents per ounce, in which case you're getting more for less. So start looking at that. And again, I did a thing with coffee that, probably put it right here maybe, that coffee, it doesn't matter. Sugar, flour, these things don't matter what you buy. I mean, you say, oh, this flour is better and this sugar is better. And okay, come on, guys, seriously? You need to look at the value of what you're getting price-wise. If it's flour, it's flour. If you're going to make bread, I found it doesn't really matter what kind of bread. I mean, flour, I used to make bread. Yes, I make bread. Don't judge me. But start looking at that. Start paying attention as you're spending money, because you want to get out of the habit of spending money. You want to reduce how much money you spend. Yes? Now, for those here in the middle, I'm going to just say average for the average person. Hopefully you're already doing that. Hopefully you're making a list and checking it twice. Hopefully you've got a menu for what you're making during the week. And hopefully you have a list, a shopping list, and you kind of stick with that, because you know that you are working on your pantry a little bit. You're working on not spending so much food, that having things in case things go wrong. You can have a little bit of food. I keep pointing because part of my pantry is over here. So hopefully you're already doing that. Now, there's a discussion going on, I noticed last couple days, between a couple content creators, not going to get in the fight, but about whether you should spend your money quickly or slowly. My recommendation is, I know it's coming out of the blue, if you have the list, you should go buy those things as soon as you can, because the price keeps going up. So if you wait a week or 2 weeks, you might be paying more for that. So I'm not saying run out there and spend all your money on things. What I'm saying is, if you have a menu, if you have a list of foods you need, and to fill your holes in your preps, or to make your menu for the next week, as soon as you get the money, as soon as you have the money available, you need to go out there and spend it, because if you wait a week, it might cost you 2% more or 5% more. Okay? Does that make sense? Now, if we're taking it the next step, I'm just letting you know it's not the first of the month, but at the first of the month I did it. Is last month I mentioned that I got me some number 10 cans of flour. And so this month I got me number 10 cans of sugar. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, if you're new, just coming in, number 10 cans, I love the things. Oh, by the way, shelf life of like 25 years. So I don't have to worry about flour or sugar for a while. I'll probably get more flour because I use it to make bread and stuff. But the point being is, I put it away, I don't have to worry about it. It's done. It's a done deal. And I can just focus on getting sugar and flour as needed, maybe a little bit extra. You know, again, I keep pointing over there at my pantry, or part of my pantry. But if you can get these items, and again, like I said, I did one month. Next month, I'll try to get something else, something that's long term that I may need to make. And my biggest things are bread and soups, because bread and soups have, or if you want to call them stews, if you want them thicker, or broths, or whatever, if you want to make them thinner, is bread and soups have kept people alive for millennia. Does that make sense? So if I'm going to spend a little extra money, if I'm going to be looking towards the future, and that's over here, looking towards the future, then yeah, that's where I'm going to spend my money. Hey, where are you guys spending yours? And then looking more towards the future, again, I'm still working on out back. My compost, which is just about done for the season. It's too cold here. You guys see I'm wearing my jacket. It's really too cold here. My garden beds, I'm still working them a little bit, but once again, it's a little too cold. But for the future, and I showed you that I built more garden beds, and some people, maybe who are just beginning, might be saying, dang, you're putting some emphasis on growing your own food. Yes, I am. And maybe you should. You think about it. If you don't think things are going to go wrong, if you think everything's just awesome, then gardening, it's a good thing. You get out in the sun and you grow some veggies and stuff, and they're good for you, non-GMO and organic. You know what I mean? You can just go out there and eat them and get away from that meat. You know, you're more, if you're on this side, or if you're not, but you're just beginning, you're over here. Well, that's a little bit more food I don't have to pay for. The government's really not involved. I don't have to pay taxes on it because, yes, they start taxing food. When I was a kid, they didn't do that. That's kind of weird, guys. But that's a different story. You know what I'm saying? Here's my grumpy face. Taxing food. Whatever. But yeah, and then for you guys here in the middle, hopefully you're seeing that it's nice to have food just right out there where you can, just go out and get it. And like I said, I was eating lettuce and my stews and stuff. But if you're over here, if you're seeing how things are getting scary, then maybe you're understanding that you really want to concentrate on getting the food closer to you because food is life, people. Yes? All right, now this is like the end of the video. I'm trying to make this really short. So now we're going to get into the ugly, and we'll go over it really fast. Inflation. Inflation last month went up again. And then a month before that, I might have mentioned it, that it set a record. So it's like 30 years, 40 years. Doesn't matter. You younger people that are younger than me, you've never seen it this bad. I have. And it ends poorly. And it's probably not going to get any better. I don't see a plan for it getting any better. If you guys can. So what I'm getting at is everything's becoming more expensive. That's it. It's going to keep happening. They're going to blame these guys are going to blame this guy. Blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter. What matters is you need to know things are going to get more expensive. The ships off of California. Yep, there's more. They're just moving them further away. I don't know if you guys track that. They're moving them further away so you can't really see them, but satellites see them. And yeah, not getting any better. And then someone else did a video on this. I looked at it, and there's shortages of things, and it's secondary, tertiary, which anybody that did logistics can understand that. That's what my key was. Secondary, tertiary. This thing's shortening up, and it causes something. Causes this, causes this, causes this. Well, there are things that are going to cause shipping issues and growing issues. I don't know if you've run down the feeds for other content creators where they talk about fertilizer. So fertilizer is going to become an issue. It already has, but it's not growing season, so people don't know it yet, but next year they will. One of the reasons why I use compost. Yeah, fertilizer is going to become an issue. Fertilizer becomes an issue, then food becomes an issue. Food becomes an issue, the price goes up, blah, blah, blah. You can smack it plus inflation, blah, 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 blah. It also has to deal with shipping. It has to do with diesel fuel. I'm not really going to get into it right now, but that's diesel fuel that's used for ships, that's used for airplanes. But most importantly, and this keeps coming up, guys, it's used for the semis that deliver the food. Yes? And if those things don't happen or it becomes more expensive, the price increase is passed on to you. If you don't know that, I can't help you. So, please, this is the ugly part, is everything's going to become more expensive, and one of the major things that's going to become more expensive is food. And that should be an issue for you. And it's not going to get solved. You have to solve it for you. Yes? All right, try to end positive. Holiday season, yes, I have family coming in, which makes me very happy. I hope you guys are working towards enjoying your holiday. I really do. And I hope you have a good time because next year, 2022, not any better than 19, than 20, than 21. No, it's only going to get worse. But don't be sad because if you're working, first, if you've realized that you need to handle your business a little bit better, if you're working towards handling your business, and maybe, who knows, maybe you're edging way over here to where you're becoming dependent on yourself more and more each day, that's a good thing. And you can be happy about that. You can be comfortable and a little bit more relaxed. Yes? So, to end this off, I hope this finds you happy. I hope you are staying positive. And for God's sakes, people, please be prepared.